In this DIY, I'm going to show you how to make a simple bottle opener. It's a homemade bottle opener, ideal for your own home bar, or you can add it as a gift for friends and family. Perfect timing for Father's Day coming up too. Simple, easy, made out of a scrap piece of wood. I've fixed in a washer here, recessed the groove at the back, hold that onto any bottle, and away you go. A simple DIY that anybody can do, and you're going to get a lot of enjoyment, and it's actually a talking piece on your bar too. Here's what we need: some scrap timber, a cordless drill, some Forstner bits. I've got a 25 and a 30mm Forstner bit, a large 25mm flat washer, some screws, a chisel, screwdriver, a clamp, a pencil, and a measuring tool. You can either use a ruler or a tape measure. I'm using the Kreg Multimark. So before we start this DIY, let's just look at what we have actually got to do. I've got a scrap piece of timber which I've sanded down smooth, and then I've put in this recess here and here using the Forstner bits. So you'll see the recess here is actually big enough to accommodate a bottle top. You'll then see I have offset the washer just to overlap over this recess slightly, and that's what's going to catch the underside of the bottle top. Let's get started and show you each one of the steps. So the first thing we're going to do is mark out the positions of where we're going to drill our Forstner bits. As you can see on the existing ones, I've got a slight overlap on the edge here, and then I've chiseled out the corner. So my distance from the side to the center point is 12mm. The diameter of the Forstner bit is 30, 15 would be halfway, and I'm allowing a little bit of overlap so that it actually recesses back slightly. Then the position of the flat washer is going to be 23mm from that center point. So let's get marking. The first thing I want is the center line. So I'm just going to slide this up. Position I can see I'm using a 44mm thick, so I'm going to pull that down halfway, and that's going to take me to 22 mils. So I'll just go measure my center line, double check the other side. Okay, so there's my center line in between those two lines, and then I'm going to measure down 12mm from this side, as well as additional 23mm on top of that, which works out to be 35. I'm going to clamp that into position. And I'm going to use my Forstner bit on the first hole, and I'm going to go down approximately 10mm down. Now that works out to be just to the bottom edge of the Forstner bit. Line it up into position. If you have got access to a drill press, this will be much easier with a drill press, but it's not that necessary. Keep the drill bit straight and a firm pressure going down. Take out the 30mm, pop in the 25, and we're going to line up again on the center point. Remember, we're only going down just a little bit further than the thickness of the washer. Perfect, that sits in place. Right, whilst I've got it clamped down, I'm just going to trim off these ears on the edge here. When using your chisel, line it up on the line with the flat surface on the side that you want to keep. Then that chip is going to be deflected away as you knock it down. Then we'll just clean up the bottom edge there. That's basically it for the structure of the bottle opener. All we need to do now is give it a nice sand down, remove any sharp edges. I'm going to round off these corners slightly, and then we'll stain it up and seal it. It's all sanded down. I've now removed all the sharp edges and burrs. What I need to do now is to stain it up and seal it. Now that's up to you what color you decide to choose. Let your creative license run wild. As you can see, I've done a whole load of different types here. For this particular one, I think I'm going to go with the African mahogany, and hopefully it really brings out that grain, that structure of this timber. Right, that's the washer secured tightly with a screw. I think all it needs now is a little hole in the back so that I can thread through some string and give it a handle. Now remember, when drilling into timber, you are going to get that breakout on the underside as the drill passes through. Make use of a scrap piece of board and you drill all the way down through the timber into the board and you won't get that breakout. I've got myself some old rustic look rope here. Let's just thread it through. Now this is the part where you always cut it too short. You'll be amazed at how much of the string the knot uses up. So always cut off a bit of excess. You can always trim it off at the end. And when you are cutting your rope, make use of some masking tape. Wind that tightly around the area where you want to cut. And cut through the center of the tape, not on the edges, because you want both sides for there to be masking tape left over, so when you pack this away and come back to use it later, it hasn't become frayed and unraveled. There you go, you've got two pieces have already been bound and they're ready to use next time. There you have it, a simple DIY. The most important thing you do now is put it to good use. This is not really the beverage of my choice, but it's going to have to do for the show. There you have it, a fun DIY. It works well, especially if somebody's shaken the bottle beforehand and allowed me to spill it all over my workbench. Have fun with yours. Choose a whole range of different styles, different colors, different wood, and remember, it's cost next to nothing to make. Great for presents, great for Father's Day. Looking forward to seeing your results. If you like this clip, like it, share it. We'd love to see your feedback. You can also check out our Builders YouTube channel, which has a range of product reviews and DIYs just like this for you to take on the challenge.